Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Wednesday to everybody out there. Since it is another Hump Day Wednesday, of course, it's time for another weekly top 10 countdown. This week's top 10 countdown comes to us courtesy of a request. It actually came from a listener on the weekly podcast that I do each and every Monday night with my man JJ, where we discuss racing and wrestling. And the request came in on last Monday's show, but I waited an extra week to do it because I feel like sometimes when you rush, there's something that you might forget, and then later on you're like, dang, I forgot that. So I gave myself an extra week to make sure I got in all the ones that I thought deserved to be on the list. And this top 10 countdown is my top 10 favorite restaurants that I've been to. Now, it's going to be restaurants that are either privately owned or maybe they're a small chain that are in a few locations here and there, but I'm not going to talk about a Burger King or a Dairy Queen or McDonald's or Arby's or anything like that that's in every podunk town in America and everybody has tried it. It's going to be restaurants that are either privately owned, that are only in a certain city or state, or they might have a few locations here and there, but it's not one of those chain restaurants that's available in every town, in every state, in every county in America. So by request, let's go ahead and talk about my all-time top 10 favorite restaurants. Now, if you know anything at all about me, you know that I like to eat. When my grandfather was alive, he always told everybody that Brandon likes three kinds of food: hot, warm, and cold, because I'm not picky. But now, if you're the kind of person that likes to watch what you eat or watch what you intake because you only want to take in so many calories, I would advise you to not listen to what I say when it comes to food, because I like to eat. I don't give a darn how the food is made. I don't give a darn how it's cooked. I don't give a darn what's in it. I don't give a darn how many calories it is. If it's good, I eat it. If it ain't no good, I don't eat it. If it's good for you and it's nasty, I'm not eating it. If it's bad for you, but it's good, I'm eating it. So when I give you this top 10 countdown, it's restaurants that I've been to that I just got something on the menu that I wanted, and not because it was healthy, because it looked good. Number 10 is a restaurant in Helen, Georgia, which of course is a very popular vacation destination all across Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina. But there's a privately owned restaurant in Helen, Georgia called Paul's on the River. And Paul's on the River is exactly like it sounds. It's a restaurant located over the top of a river, owned by Paul, obviously. And they pretty much had just about anything you can think of. Number 9 is a Mexican restaurant in Cookeville, Tennessee. It's called El Tapatio. Now, of course, there are Mexican restaurants all over, but El Tapatio is only in the Cookeville, Tennessee area, and that is where my dad's family is from. So when I get to go visit them, I try to make a trip to El Tapatio. Number 8 is another Mexican restaurant in a small town in Georgia called Royston. They've got a Mexican restaurant called El Manzanillo. and they have some very, very, very good food. Number 7 is a restaurant in Pigeon Forge. Of course, we all know where that is, and we all know it's a vacation destination. And you'll find quite a few restaurants on my list that are located in Pigeon Forge. But the one at number 7, honestly, really, truly, I remember when I was in middle school and high school, this was a chain restaurant that you could find at just about every big city there was. But now I don't know how many are left, but there is still one in Pigeon Forge, and that is TGI Fridays. They have some wonderful chicken wings. Number 6, another restaurant in Pigeon Forge. This is a barbecue restaurant. It's called Corky's. Now, Corky's is amazing. My wife, one time, got some barbecue pulled pork with macaroni and cheese poured on top of it. And when I heard barbecue and macaroni, I was like, that doesn't sound too good. But then when I took a bite of hers, it was absolutely wonderful. Now, there's another barbecue restaurant in Pigeon Forge called Bennett's, and it gets more love than Corky's does. But the reason why I particularly like Corky's better is because when you go to Corky's, if you walk in hungry, when you leave, you'll be full. If you go to Bennett's and you walk in hungry, when you walk out, you're still going to be hungry. And to me, if you're a restaurant and your job is to fill me up and you don't fill me up, I don't care for you. And that's why you'll never hear me talk good about Cracker Barrel. Nothing wrong with the food. But I've been to Cracker Barrel 11 times, and every time I've went in hungry and I've left hungry. And if you don't give me enough food to fill me up, I don't care how good it is, I'm not going to give you a good score because you didn't do your job. Your job is to fill me up. Before we talk about the top 5, let's recap numbers 10 through 6. Number 10, Paul's on the River. Number 9, El Tapatio. Number 8, El Manzanillo. Number 7, TGI Fridays. And number 6, Corky's. Number 5 is a restaurant located in South Carolina in a town called Anderson. They've got a restaurant called Pizza Buffet. Now, when Grace and I and the kids go to Anderson, it's a wonderful place to eat because it is a pizza buffet, but they don't just have pizza. They have a salad bar and they have a pasta bar in there. But they don't just have your normal everyday pizza. They do have a bar on the buffet that has your normal everyday pizza. But then they have one that's like taco pizza, strawberry whipped cream pizza, chocolate chip pizza, apple pie pizza. And I always go and get me a plate of the regular pizza and then a plate of the chocolate chip and the strawberry whipped cream pizza. So if you like pizza, especially if you like pizza and salad, if you're ever in South Carolina and you go through a town called Anderson, I highly suggest you stop at Pizza Buffet. Number 4, we go back to God's country, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Another pizza restaurant. This one is called Big Daddy's Pizzeria is the full name. We just call it Big Daddy's. There's actually 3 of these. They're all in the same area in Sevier County. There's one in Gatlinburg, one in Pigeon Forge, and one in Sevierville. Now, unlike Pizza Buffet, it's not a buffet, and they do not have a salad bar and a pasta bar. They just have pizza and a couple other small things on the menu. But they do have a huge selection of pizza, but it's wood fire grilled pizza. And you're talking about good, and they've got one called the Bee Sting because it has honey on it. And that thing is to die for. It is absolutely delicious. Number 3, we stay in God's country in Pigeon Forge, a restaurant called Huck Finn's. And if the name Finn doesn't tell you what it is, there's not much I can do for you. But it's an old-fashioned restaurant. They actually bring you your sweet tea or whatever you prefer to drink. Me personally, it's sweet tea. But they bring it to you in a mason jar, and they set the gallon of tea on your table. So if you need more, instead of having to ask for more, you just reach beside you, grab the gallon jug, and pour it in your mason jar. But their hush puppies are great. They've got some boom boom shrimp, and they won't tell you what boom boom is. They just say it's a secret sauce, but it is absolutely delicious. My mother-in-law got the catfish one time about 6 or 7 years ago, and she said it was good. Their frog legs are good. Their chicken liver is good. Everything they have is wonderful. Number 2, we go to the best city in the world. The city that if you don't want to go there, you're just living wrong. I'm not even sure why you're living. But number 2, we go to Clemson, South Carolina. Another restaurant kind of like TGI Fridays that when I was in middle school and high school, I remember this restaurant being all over the South. But now, the only one that I know still exists is in Clemson. If there's another one, I don't know where it is. So obviously it's a privately owned restaurant, even though it was a chain back in the day. But it's Ruby Tuesday. Now, we love Ruby Tuesday because I love steak, and they have a huge steak, and boy is it good. But my wife likes it because they have the biggest salad bar you'll ever see in your life. And my wife loves salad. It's not just lettuce and tomato, the normal stuff. Anything you can think of to put on your salad, they've got it at Ruby Tuesday in Clemson. And number 1 is right up the road from Clemson in a small town called Central. And Central is so small that more than likely a lot of people probably go through it and assume it's Clemson, but it's actually a town called Central. There's a restaurant there called Arden's Burger and Grill. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, you've actually seen before some pictures from Arden's Burger and Grill because me and Grace took the kids there. I want to say late last year, maybe early this year. And then me and my man JJ that I mentioned earlier went to a Furman football game on the opening Thursday night of the college football season. And we went, ate at Arden's, and we put pictures on Facebook. And their food is absolutely wonderful. The double dipped wings are good. But they've got a teriyaki burger. That thing is amazing. But all 3 of my kids got chicken and waffles, and I will say that I tried their chicken and waffles. And if you like chicken and waffles so sweet, it'll cross your eyes and dot your T's and cross your toes, then I suggest you getting Arden's Burger and Grills chicken and waffles. So if you're ever up in the Clemson area, I suggest you go to Ruby Tuesday in Clemson or Arden's Burger and Grill in Central. And by the way, if you do not follow me on Facebook, then you should. What are you waiting on? I'm easy to find. It's just simply, believe it or not, Brandon Todd. And the reason why I say that is because I love hearing from people, reading comments, and I love when people leave comments down below the video here on the YouTube channel, and I reply to every single one that I get eventually. I may not respond right away, but I do respond. But you can also message me on Facebook anytime you have a suggestion or an idea for a top 10 countdown, just like this one that I got last Monday that was top 10 restaurants that I've been to. And obviously, these are privately owned restaurants in these cities, So unless you go to these cities, you can't eat there. And that's why on all 10, I mentioned what city they were in, so that you know if you ever go to any of those cities, you can try those restaurants. But it's not a chain restaurant that you're just going to find traveling down the road. You're going to have to go to that particular city to see it. Now, the request came in, as I said, last Monday from a lady that lives in Chicago. Now, Chicago has many restaurants, so if I ever get a chance to go to Chicago, I'll probably gain 20 pounds while I'm there. But any thoughts on this top 10 countdown, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Why did the coach put the frog in the outfield? He's really good at catching flies. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.